What's up? Welcome to the Pretty Decent Podcast, the podcast that barely meets expectations. My name is Javier, and I'll be your host. So relax, grab some snacks, and enjoy. All right, now let's get to the episode. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Pretty Decent. Happy Saturday, or Monday if you're listening on Monday, or whatever day. Happy day. You can tell your boy is feeling a lot better. No more cold symptoms, no more headaches. I actually know what I'm going to be talking about this episode, so that's good. But I wanted to start thanking everyone for your messages, wishing a speedy recovery. It means a lot, that you guys reach out and everything, and engaging with you guys. And the audience is one of the main factors to keep going. But yeah, thank you for everything. And yeah, welcome back. Episode 55. It's crazy, man. Like the day that I hit 100 episodes, which will probably be around November of this year, maybe, if my uploading schedule keeps going the way it is going, it will be around November, almost the end of 2023, which will be crazy. And I have a hard time realizing that we're already 2 weeks into February, which just has been going by way too fast. But yeah, this whole week was weird. Obviously, Valentine's Day, and just I feel like not being able to run makes my weeks feel a lot longer than they actually are, because obviously, my schedule when I'm running, it's pretty much just I wake up, go to work, get back from work, then I get ready for my run, then I head out on my run, and then it's just like everything is like so methodical, and like I don't have that much time and room to just like mess around and waste time. Whereas now that I'm just pretty much just like icing my knee and like taking medicine and all that stuff, it's just pretty much like I get home from work, I lay on my couch, and I cook dinner at around 6, and then like get ready for bed, and like I'm in bed by 9. And it's just such a weird feeling to have so much time in my hands. But it has given me a lot of time to think about my life and watch shows and movies and all that stuff. And yeah, I think I had like an eye-opening experience this week. I was watching a show called Rami on Hulu. I had heard of it, and it was just I hadn't really like had time to watch it. I had been meaning to watch it, but this week I was like, you know what? Like, we have time, let's just watch it. And I started watching it, and I was just like thinking about, for some reason, like I was just came to the realization, it's like, why do I complain so much about life? Like, yeah, I might not have like all the money in the world and all that stuff, but like I'm well off with what I have, and like I'm doing stuff on my own, like I'm living my own life and all that stuff. And it's important to be thankful for everything. And it's just like finding the blessings within the curses and the curses within the blessings. And it's just like, it just insane to think about all that stuff, especially because I feel like it's easier to point out the negatives within the positives rather than the positives within the negatives. So, and I'm just been trying to be more meaningful with what I spend my time with, and who I spend my time with, and where I put my time into, and all that stuff. So I feel like it's been just a lot of thinking lately. And I at first I used to hate that, have so much time with my thoughts, because then I can just like spiral down and go into like a very dark place. But lately, I don't know, like I've been, especially with Valentine's Day and all that stuff, I don't know why, but I started remembering just like romantic stuff from high school. And my first thing that came up to me was just like, there was this one time, I think it was my junior year, one of my closest friends was dating someone, and I was like I liked this one girl for a long time, and I've been meaning to, like go out with her and everything. And we kind of like set up a double date, and then she left me planted. I think that's the word. I in Spanish we say plantado, because like, she basically never showed up, and I was just like, it was so sad. So I was like a third wheel, and yeah, like I don't know how to explain it. The unfortunate times in love have always been there for me. And sometimes I'm glad that those relationships never went past just a crush or anything more than that, because it was just, it would have been, I don't think it would have been the best relationship, or like the best relationship for me at the time. And then, I mean, and then I started thinking about like the more recent Valentine's Day, which was last year, which I mean, I gotta give credit to Snapchat, because Snapchat brought back all the trauma from last year, at this time of the year. But like looking back, I was just like, trying to find the blessings within the curses. And I found like this one memory that I had with one of my closest friends, and how pretty much like it was the night that she told me like, yo, like, you might not want to start this relationship, all this and that. And we were just like, goofing off and all that stuff. So it was like pretty funny to just like looking back at where we are, both of us. It's just so drastic. And like, I don't know, like I was looking back at like, I had long hair, like I just looked so different, and then like she also looked different, and it's just like, we've both like grown so much. So it's like, that's kind of like what I've liked about, looking back on like Snapchat memories, when like Snapchat is just like, oh, remember this day like 4 years ago when you were just like crying because you missed home? Yeah, you might want to revisit that. So, but at the same time, it's just like, you get to see like the growth that you've had over time. And I feel like that's sometimes we overlook it, because we're just so concerned with the future or what's going on at the moment, that sometimes we just don't take enough time to sit down and look back on the past and just acknowledge all of the growth that you've done as a person. Because at least for me, whenever like, I'm always harsh on myself. Like I feel like I'm harsh on people, but that's because like I have a high expectation on myself. So obviously, my expectations for them are not as high as my expectations for myself, but I set the bar high for what I'm expecting in a friendship and relationships and all that stuff. And obviously, when I'm harsh on myself, I tend to just point out small things that annoy me about myself. And then I'm just like, like looking back as to where I was a year ago today, I was in a terrible place. So, like just sometimes it's good to look back, as just acknowledge like all of the growth and all of the changes that you've done in your life, considering like all the circumstances and all that. So it's sometimes I feel like it's easy to get caught up with all that stuff, especially when it just, social media just gives you all of these like memories that you were trying to push down in like the back of your head, just like, no more, like, oh, no, and then you like, but yeah, wow, I don't know why I started the episode so deep, but I just had to get that off my chest. Also, even if I highly recommend watching the show Rami. It's just, I don't know, it's interesting. Like, it has made me think a lot about the world and just like my own life and my relationship with people, and like just relationships in general. So yeah, take it take a gander, look at it, watch it. It's pretty funny, but also it has like a good balance between seriousness and comedy. I mean, no wonder it was Emmy nominated, and I think it won some Emmys. But yeah, so yeah, let's get a pretty deep intro. That's out of the way. That's a deep aspect of the episode. It's just like out of the way. But yeah, welcome back, guys. Episode 55. Before I dive into the jokes of the episode, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, follow it on Spotify, follow the podcast on Instagram and on Spotify, and follow me on Instagram if you want to, keep up to date with all that stuff. I'm working on being more active on the podcast Instagram. But it's hard because obviously my main account is my account, so it's easy to just hop in and put a story and all that stuff. But I have some stuff planned for the podcast and be active with TikTok and Reels and all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember, but I think it was 2 weeks ago I mentioned how my computer was broken, or it's on the brink of breaking pretty much. And I was at work and I was on my lunch break. So I was you know what, just let me look up this stuff for this computer, because I don't want it to break, because this computer was it was expensive. So I'm pretty sure there has to be something online. So I went to the good old Reddit. If you have reddit.com, if you don't know what Reddit is pretty much just the best place on earth. You can find anything and you can find everyone, everything, and everything you need in one place. Reddit, that's Reddit, reddit.com. So I went into it. It's just pretty much a forum. If you don't know what Reddit is, you live under a rock. Come on, it's Reddit. So I went into Reddit, and oh my god, the train, man. Anyway, so I went into Reddit, right? And I was just looking up Lenovo forums, and because first I look at the component, right? Because it's just pretty much a plastic thing that goes at the bottom of my screen, and it's just if I were to close my laptop, it'll crack. And I'm okay, I haven't closed my laptop, I would say, in a month, which it's inconvenient because if I were to travel somewhere, I can't take my laptop with me. So kind of makes it hard to have a podcast. If let's say I have a race somewhere and I want to record there, I can't take my laptop with me if I can't close it. So I was looking, see if I could fix it on my own, right? So I look up the component. I could put my what model I have on Google, and I find the component. It's it's $18. It's easy, it's cheap. So then I see that Google prompts some forums from other customers that have the same laptop or a similar laptop. I'm sorry, it's just a train. The train really gets into. Anyway, so I go on Google and I click on them, and I just see all of these complaints from people, and they're yeah, I bought my computer 5 months ago, and just one night I closed it, and the next day I opened it, and my whole screen cracked from the bottom right, and it's just the whole thing, and they showed a picture, and I'm that's my exact same computer, and I'm just whoa. Guess I was lucky to find, that it the hinge was loose. It's not the hinge. It's just the screen. The screen was malfunctioning when my laptop was open and not when it was closed. And then I keep reading, and Lenovo is just they're just asses about it. The people in the forum from Lenovo, because it's a Lenovo forum. It wasn't on Reddit. Later on I went into Reddit, but the workers from Lenovo, they're just assholes about it. They were like, well, you can send it to us, and then like we'll give you like information about how long it will take, how much it will cost, all that stuff. And they were just like, well, it's not covering your warranty, blah 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 blah. And like a lot of people were like me, that the computer broke right of like a few weeks after the warranty like expired, pretty much. So it's very inconvenient because it's like, okay, it makes you think like, are they doing it on purpose, where like they purposely make this product like this so that the customer gets the warranty, but then like after a few months, after literally a few weeks after the warranty expires, like the computer breaks, and then they're like, oh, you have to pay full price for it, or like buy a new one. And it's just like, okay, when it's just like clearly a product malfunction. And then like I went into this rabbit hole of like finding videos of people repairing it. And then it's just like, the video was like, here's how you can fix your Lenovo broken vessel in 5 easy steps. And then I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure like I can do it. And then like you can just see like the guy just like takes out all of these tools, and I'm like, okay, I clearly don't have that, because like the video is just like, it was like the title said something like with tools that you can find in your house. Like the only things that he disclaimed, the disclaimer just said like, yeah, like you have to buy this component, like whatever thing you're replacing, and that you're gonna need like some specific type of glue. And then he just like starts like taking apart the whole thing, and like he takes out like this wrench for you to like, once you glue it, like you press it and all that stuff. And I'm like, and then he starts using soldering and a solder iron, and I'm like, bro, like clearly you have a lot of experience doing this. You can't just say like this is a beginner's course or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, it's just like how those videos, like the DIY videos, like 5-minute crafts, it's just like unnecessary things. Like it was like, I always remember, whenever I think of like 5-minute crafts, I think of like this, what was it? It was like someone was trying to eat soup with a fork, but obviously like the liquid goes in between the fork thingies. So like they made a spoon out of the fork, and then it's just so stupid. And I'm like, this is literally how I feel watching this video on trying to fix my computer at home. And then it just like, at this point I'm like, well, I'm gonna be like pretty much every other customer from like that has the same computer, and I'm just not gonna buy from them again, because like it's just unbelievable that not even, well, I've had it for 2 years now, so it's pretty in pretty good conditions and everything, and it's like that, like the whole screen just like, I'm afraid of closing it and then just like waking up to like a shattered screen, because then it'll be an issue. So I'm gonna see if I can go to Best Buy and like see if they can just fix that part, because I'm just worried, because I don't want to break the computer, because like the computer's good, but if I need a new one, then I guess I have to sacrifice. And it's no big deal. Like I don't really have that many important things in this laptop. It's just like all of my documents and like the podcast stuff and all that thing. But I don't know. It was kind of like reassuring seeing all of these people dealing with the same stuff, because then you're like, oh, I'm not alone in this, like I'm not the only person going through this. So, but at the same time, it was just like, God, like, are they really this bad? Like, because it's convenient having a laptop that can basically just be a full on tablet without removing the keyboard. But not even like my old laptop, which used to be like a pretty basic Dell, which was the same, like you could make it into a tablet. What, like I never had issues with that. Like it was I've dropped that thing from the second floor of the library in college, and that was still, screen wasn't broken, it worked fine. Obviously, like with years it got slow. I think I had it for 3, almost 4 years, but because I changed it halfway through my junior year, I believe. But other than that, it was like a pretty solid computer. And then it's just like decided to this piece of junk that I have now. I don't know. I told my best friend, because he has the same laptop for work, and he's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I just got this laptop for work." Like, and it's like, bro, just like take care of it. Just be careful. But yeah, be on the lookout for, like, I guess, like, if you have a laptop that, bends and make becomes a tablet, just be careful. Try not to use it as a tablet as much as possible. And honestly, like, I'm just gonna go back to like the normal laptops, just like, that's it. But yeah, that was my rant of this week. Thank you for listening. I don't know, February has been hard on my bank account, and it's just like I know where my money is going, but it's just frustrating because, like, like the car battery thing, I wasn't expecting to spend extra money on that this month. And then the electric bill went up because, like, it's just been cold as hell. And then it's just like, oh, the heaters need to be running along all the time. And it's just like, ugh, why? Like, I just want it to be spring. And then it's like, it's going to be cool. It's going to be warmer. It's going to be nicer out. So, yeah. But I have been trying to be more conscious with where my money is going, because it's just like everything is so expensive, and like with the whole recession and all that stuff, it's scary because a lot of people are being laid off and all that stuff. Like, I think the most recent one was it Disney that laid off a lot of people? I don't remember what company it was, but it was just, I don't know, it's just scary because, like most of the people that I know, we're like either still in college or just wrapping up college and like starting adulthood and like starting, your adult life when the economy is just literally ass is hard. And like it's scary because, like you can't buy property. It's hard to find like a place to live, like a car and all that stuff, and like groceries are expensive and everything. Gas is just insanely expensive. And I don't know, it's so, like, I mean, I'm thankful and glad that I have a job and like, it pays well and everything, but it's just hard to not think about like everything that could go wrong. So it's, I kind of like try to have a balance of like, okay, this could definitely hit the shitters. You gotta get ready for hitting the shitters at any point. But yeah, I don't know. It's I'm trying not to like get too caught up with it, but at the same time, like I have 5 months to figure out what I'm gonna do, because like I have to apply for my permit extension and all that stuff, and like tax season is right around the corner, and that's like not stressful at all, because like if you don't pay your taxes, you're going to jail, buddy. Hey, you're going to jail for tax evasion. But don't worry, your boy always pays his taxes. Yes, your boy always pays his taxes. Sorry. God. Okay. All right, we're gonna take a swift. I really need to work on my. It's just like I know lately my content in the podcast hasn't been the best, but it's just hard to find stuff to talk about when I'm not running, B, I'm just watching TV, and C, there's nothing relevant going on in my life. So just cut me some slack. But yeah, Jesus. Yesterday I did watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and I took the task upon myself to count how many times they say quantum in that movie. I lost track at 10, and that wasn't even 10 minutes into the movie. So, but overall, like, I don't know if you've been reading on social media about like the Rotten Tomatoes score, how it's like the according to critics is like the second lowest rated movie and Marvel movie and Rotten Tomatoes and then this and that. And it's just like whenever I watch a movie that I'm interested by, I try not to, you know, focus too much on what the critics say about the movie. I worry more about the audience, because like critics they just think like every movie's just gonna be a masterpiece. So they're like, I don't know what you're going in expecting into like an Ant-Man movie. It's not. It's not freaking directed by Quentin Tarantino. Like, you know, it's not. It's a Marvel movie. It's meant to have like a balance where like, yeah, the longtime fans can enjoy it, but also like just casual viewers can also enjoy it. You know, it's not gonna be like this whole expose on like global warming and all that stuff. Like, that's what you have Avatar for, you know. But overall, I think, don't worry, this is gonna be spoiler free. So I just wanted to watch it as soon as possible so that I wouldn't get spoiled by social media or anything like that. So spoiler free, don't worry. But pretty much overall, I will say the movie visually looked pretty good. I do understand what people were saying, like it looks like a Star Wars movie, because like it does make you feel like the way that they present the quantum realm, it's interesting, and gives very heavy Star Wars vibes. But so like at first, like, is this an Ant-Man movie? Because, you know, like Ant-Man has always been like just like a casual hero here and there. But I do understand why they picked him to introduce Kang, because like, you know, the quantum realm and like the time travel with like Endgame and all that stuff, like exploring the quantum realm and all that. And like, you know, Kang is known for like time travel, so like it makes sense. But I will say, like, I don't understand why critics were saying like, oh, it doesn't feel like an Ant-Man movie, and like a lot of people were saying like it doesn't feel like an Ant-Man movie, like there's not enough like Scott Lang and like Hope Van Dyne and here and that. And I'm just like, I mean, to me it did feel like it had the typical jokes from like an Ant-Man movie, and I thought that was funny. And I feel like it had a good balance between like the seriousness and the comedy and the exposition, because obviously, you know, like you're introducing the new main villain for like the next 5-6 years. However, I know Marvel is delaying a lot of things, but like, you know, pretty much for like the next saga, right? So you're introducing this new bad guy, and you want to give as much backstory as you can, so that, you know, like you can get people interested in like the future for the MCU. But at the same time, like, you also are trying to wrap up the Ant-Man trilogy and close all of these arcs within, like, you know, Scott's family, like Hope, Hank, Janet, and then like, oh no, you know, Cassie's now going to be like, oh, maybe she's a future Avenger, who knows, blah 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 blah. So I feel like, yeah, it didn't really wrap up a lot of like story arc, like character arc, from like within like Ant-Man. But at the same time, like, I mean, personally, I wasn't expecting Ant-Man to die at this movie. And okay, I guess like this is the one spoiler. Ant-Man doesn't die. Someone does die at the movie. A lot of people die actually in the movie, but it's not like I knew like, oh, they're not gonna kill Ant-Man. Like, he's like the main guy. Like, you know, it's supposed to be like a comedy movie and yeah, you're introducing new things, but it's supposed to be like, you know, like lighthearted and all that stuff. It like the serious scenes in the movie are really like Jonathan Majors as Kang was just out of the park. Like, he killed it. Like, his scenes were like, you can see like how scary he is. And obviously, like, you know, he had been Kang before in Loki, as He Who Remains, and like seeing like this version of Kang was like, yo, like this guy has range. And then the mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene were, it just really got me very excited about what's coming. So stick around for that. And I mean, overall, I do feel like they were trying to shove in too much into the movie, but it still managed to be an Ant-Man movie. It was like the balance. I will say like the balance was a bit off with like all of the things they were trying to shove in, because like, you know, they had to like explain like who Kang was and like what he was doing there, and then like I feel like the main character in the movie was Kang, with also like adding an Ant-Man story, which, you know, like it's all right. But yeah, I mean, the movie was fun. It was a good time. I want to watch it again, so I'll see if I can go again in the coming days. MODOK was pretty. It was an interesting way on how they added him to the MCU, especially, you know, without having mutants yet, because I believe he is a mutant heavy character. Is he? I don't remember. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited. Like those post-credit scenes really have me excited for the future projects. Yeah, I mean, because I want to dive into the movie, but the movie literally just came out this weekend, so I know not everyone that's watching or listening, you know, will be able to, you know, like, I don't want to spoil it to you. So go watch it, have fun, go to it with an open mind. Don't listen to what the critics say. Like the audience liked it. Like the audience, I think, had like an 80-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, which was really good. So go with that and not ignore what the critics have to say about it. But yeah, it was a pretty funny movie. I will say, yeah, I had a lot of fun. So it gets, for me, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, I kind of wished like they would have closed arcs, but I feel like Marvel is just trying to milk their characters as much as they can, because the way they ended it, obviously, like we haven't seen the last of Ant-Man, which I'm happy about that. But, you know, like we know, like, for example, Guardians of the Galaxy, after Volume 3, we won't have, at least if we have more Guardians of the Galaxy, it won't be with James Gunn or with the same group from like the first 3. So it's gonna be like kind of different. But I don't know. I think this week it was reported that Kevin Feige was saying that they weren't gonna push so many projects, like, you know, not have as many Disney Plus shows, which is good, because I feel like they were going ham with that. Like they were just putting them out like crazy, and then like the quality, obviously, like if you're working in so many projects at once, the quality won't be as good. And I'm kind of glad that he's like, yeah, we gotta like chill about this. And I think the Marvels was delayed till November, and he said that they're working on the story for Spider-Man 4, which I'm very excited about that. I'm excited to see my boy Tom Holland back. And yeah, I mean, I feel like as long as Marvel takes their time and doesn't rush into anything, because like I feel like I have a feeling that more likely than not, I don't know how you say it, but I have a feeling that Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars are going to be pushed further back from the original release date, because I think they had them scheduled for 2025 or 2026. But I think they're probably going to push that way back, because like that's in 3 years, 2 or 3 years, which is insane. And And like, obviously, like if you compare it 1-to-1 with what DC is trying to do with James Gunn at the head of it, and like how he said, like, oh yeah, like the first chapter, I think is what he's calling it, is going to be 8 years. And I'm like, okay, go at it. But I feel like he's taking some stuff from Kevin Feige and like how he did the MCU, but I also think like he's taking his time to build the characters and everything, because after the whole Zack Snyder stuff and just like the way he left the Justice League, and like the way that Warner Brothers just left the DC comics, it's just like they need to, like, it's just a whole mess. And I'm excited for The Flash, because that movie's gonna be good. Like James Gunn saying like it's the best superhero movie he's watched. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see. And Michael Keaton is back as Batman, and he's like, wait, how's his face? Yeah, I'm Batman. And I'm like, so I kind of want to watch his old Batman movies, because lately I've been watching a lot of old movies. I think the most recent one I watched was it Batman and Robin? Yeah. Batman and Robin. The bat suit with the bat nipples on Batman and the bat credit card. And that was the first time they introduced... Was it the first time they introduced Robin into like a live action movie? I think so. Well, obviously you don't count the Adam West Batman, because obviously there was a Robin there, but that was a TV show. But yeah. Kind of nice being able to nerd out again, because when was the last time? Oh, it was Black Panther, but I don't think I don't remember if I had an episode when Black Panther came out, because that was in November. That was a long time ago. Interesting. Have you guys seen the big red boots on Instagram by Mischief? The boots that look like Astro Boy's boots, or like boots from Dora the Explorer. Boots from Dora the Explorer. They're so crazy, man. It's like, right? I totally wouldn't spend $300 on those. Just takes them out. No. Just one day I just come back and I'm like, just trashing on them, and I'm like, oh, yeah, like those boots are so terrible. And I just like lift my legs and I'm like, oh yeah, guys, I'm like totally not wearing them or anything like that. I don't even know if it was on frame when I did that. Was it? Oh no, you guys can't see it. You can only see my knees. Never mind. But anyway, just picture like, me wearing the big red boots. I think I saw this video of someone trying to take them off, and they were like, the guys were like pulling them, trying to pull them off, and like they were dragging him across the floor. And I was just like, I don't think I could afford them. Well, first of all, I don't think I can afford them. And second of all, I don't think it'd be smart for me to wear them when I live by myself, because I don't know how I'd be able to take them off. I wonder if I would be able to take them to work. Like because I need to wear steel toe shoes for work. So I wonder if like I put like steel inside and I just go to work with those. $1 million idea. Hey, Mischief, if for some reason you're listening to this podcast, reach out to me, because I have a collection for like steel toed shoes for everyone that works in like, places that need to wear steel toed shoes. Because I got it for you, man. So, how are you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, I don't know. This is that awkward time in the podcast where we're just gonna like sit in silence. Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, I kind of want to go back to the whole Valentine's Day thing, because last episode, I don't really think I made it justice, like having like, the second Valentine's Day episode ever, because it was just an awful episode. It's just, this is such a mess. Like I was watching back I watched it. Yeah, I watch my own podcast, okay? Because I need to study what to do better. Um, I was watching it, and it's just the whole breakdown with the fried pickles, man. I'm like, so stupid. And it's just like, I mean, I do like fried pickles a lot, but I was like, did I really cry about fried pickles on the podcast? And I'm like, man, it's just fried pickles, man. And I'm already tearing up again. Don't worry, I'm not on any meds or anything. Um, I don't know. What do you want me to say? Like, I really like fried pickles because they're fried pickles. They're really good. But this Valentine's Day was pretty pretty chill for me. I did go to a Krispy Kreme after work because oh Jesus. Sorry. I did go to Krispy Kreme after work because I was like, you know what? We're not running. Might as well treat ourselves to something. So I drove to the closest Krispy Kreme, and that's like 40 minutes away from where I live. And it was raining, so it was like the coolest drive ever. And I bought a dozen of the Valentine's Day donuts, which they were really good. And your boy ate a total of 13 donuts in 3 days. So you best believe my sugar levels were. I was on a sugar high for 3 days in a row, and I felt it on Friday. That's when I came down from my sugar high because the donuts were great, but I was like, yeah, no, I need like a cleanse to just like, no sugar for like the next few days. Cause yeah, it was just bad. But a girl did ask me out, which, I guess, I don't know. But I had to, yeah, like I said, no. I know it's like, why? Like, but last time that happened, I was left with like trauma and just had to seek therapy. So, like, also, like, my heart wasn't in it. And I was telling my friend about this. I was like, yeah, like, a girl asked me out, but I turned her down. And I'm like, and I was like, it's not you. It's just like, I'm not really like in the right place to have a relationship at the moment. Because I don't know if like it was because like it was just Valentine's Day and like, she just wanted to like have a date on Valentine's or something like that. But I was just like trying to be polite about it. I'm like, yeah, like it's not you. It's because like she's very pretty, but I was like, nah, like I'm kind of just, enjoying my lone wolf, my solo life right now. But yeah, even like I was proud of myself because like I know old me would have been like at the like if as soon as like she would have said like, oh, do you want to go out with me? I'll be like, yes, not even thinking about it, just yes. And that was my mistake a year ago. So but your boy has learned from his mistakes and won't do them again, which is good. We're learning. But yeah, I did see a lot of nice. Some people like I love love. I like seeing people that are in relationships and like they're sharing a lot about like their relationships and like they've been together for a long time and all that stuff. I'm a sucker for that stuff. But at the same time, I also sometimes I'm like, they're like, my forever Valentine. And I'm like, that's what you said about the guy that you were dating. like 5 months ago. Like, are you sure he's your forever Valentine? Like, you just met the guy, you know? I don't know. It's just little stuff like that from like social media and everything. Like, I'm like, just be honest, okay? You should say my second forever Valentine. Or just don't say my forever Valentine. Like, the only people that can say your forever Valentine is if that's the only person you've ever dated and you're gonna be with him for like the rest of your life, then yes, he is your forever Valentine. But if he was just, he's like your third boyfriend or girlfriend in 8 months, how is he your forever Valentine? Well, maybe he was the only one that made it to Valentine's Day, but you know. Oh, this doesn't only apply to girls; it also applies to guys. Okay, I don't want to get into any beef or anything like that. But yeah, I don't have anything else. This is probably gonna be the shortest episode to date. But yeah, take care, guys. Like always, it's my honor, it's my pleasure to be able to do this. Subscribe to the podcast, like the episode if you liked it. If you didn't, don't like it, it's fine. I'm an honest YouTuber. I won't beg for your likes. I will beg for your subscribe though. Subscribe, please subscribe. Please subscribe to the podcast. It's funny because like I whenever I talk to my friends, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like I haven't been able to catch up to the podcast," and I'm like, "What are you doing? This should be your number one priority. As soon as the new episode comes out, you have to drop everything, put it on, and let it loop for like days on end. That's what real friends do." I'm kidding. It's a joke. Okay, it's just for ha-has. It's not real. But yeah, I like all the support. But yeah, thank you guys for everything. I hope you had a good Valentine's Day, and you got roses. I'm gonna celebrate the Homelentines, because in like a few hours I'm going to visit my friends, and we're going to our Homelentines dinner, because I gotta show love to the homies. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week. I really need to get myself into funny situations to have stuff to talk about the podcast. I might, I might dive. I kind of like talking about high school. Kind of want to revisit. I kind of want to open that Pandora box of memories. Unleash all the trauma. I'm kidding. I would never trauma dump on you guys. Never. But yeah. Anyway. Take care, guys. I'll see you next week, hopefully, if God allows it. But yeah, take care, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Peace.